I'm joined by David Hoffmann, the CEO of Dunkin Brands. David, good to see you.
Yeah, great to see you, Brian.
Even though it's remote and virtually, good to see you nonetheless.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys are fresh off your first quarter. Take us through the business a little bit. We're seeing a lot of different trends throughout the restaurant industry. We've had a lot of restaurant store closures, but some stores are open and delivering. What does it look like from the Dunkin' perspective?
Yeah, Brian, prior to the crisis, as you know, we were headed towards our best quarter since 2013 with positive traffic. And then once the crisis hit, we just went inward and we started to really focus on simply just doing the right thing for our franchisees, our suppliers, our brand employees, our restaurant employees, our guests. And that was a big part of what we were focused on. And look, everything then started to gear towards the safety and security of our crew and our guests. And so we've made a brand standard gloves, masks, plexiglass guards, as well as we just shipped infrared thermometers to every restaurant in the U.S. this past week to be prepared. And then, on the franchisee side, great franchisees, and we've really rallied around each other. But we made the restaurant easier to operate, very flexible on hours of operation, very flexible on limited menu. We called the limited menu Essentials or Essentials Plus that they could pull down. And then, as you know, a big focus was then around the financial health of the franchisees and their liquidity. And so we extended payment terms on a lot of items related to franchise fees and the marketing fees, just to make sure that all three legs of the stool, the franchisees, the brand, and our suppliers, were strong during all of this.
Dave, any sense on when your restaurants in some of your bigger markets like New York City will get to reopen?
Yeah, we're starting to see more openings every day. So today, 90% of our restaurants are open on the Dunkin' side and the Baskin side. And that 10%, which is under 1,000 today, a lot of universities, a lot of transportation hubs, and then in New York as well. So temporarily closed today, but we're seeing more and more openings in the New York area where it's been the hardest hit. But again, we view those as temporary closings, and we're really encouraged by what we're seeing. And I think, today, if you heard me on the call this morning, we saw minus 35% same-store sales in the month of March. Now it's hovering around minus 20%, still not at an acceptable level, but you're starting to see those stimulus checks roll in. A few of the markets starting to open up and be a little bit looser with, getting out and active again. So we're encouraged by some of the green shoots that we're seeing out there. And look, we'll do whatever it takes to get New York up and running again. And so we just stand with our franchisees down there and applaud everything that they've done in the local hospitals as well.
Dave, we've seen a big economic downturn in this country since the last time we talked a couple months ago. Are you seeing that? How are you seeing that translated into your business? Are people buying smaller coffees? Are they just buying coffee and not a donut? Are you seeing trade down?
Yeah, actually, our average ticket is actually growing. And you can understand that because people are coming through and ordering for bigger group size. But it's been pretty broad-based. I mean, food and beverage is both up. Matcha lattes are up in the new items. What we have seen, though, and again, this is intuitive with people at home, the 6 to 9 day part has shifted to 10 to 2 p.m. So that 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. we're positive in sales year over year. And so, we think when the workforce comes back, we're going to continue to capture. But we like what we're seeing out of the afternoon. And as you know, we've spent some considerable resources investing in that afternoon day part as well, with whether it's our happy hour or espresso and our snacking menu. Right now, we've got croissant stuffers in the restaurants. We're not doing a lot of advertising above the line. It's a lot of in-store, but it's doing incredibly well. And those are the types of great on-the-go food that we think our customers are asking for and pairing well with our beverage offering.
Dave, you were the architect before you were CEO. You were the architect of this transition a bit to Dunkin Brands, more on the go, slimmer menu, more espresso coffee. So as you take a step back during the situation, if you had a chance to take a step back a little bit, what does the next 5 years look like for Dunkin? How will the brand have to change?
Yeah, I think two forces, Brian, that we're really geared on. One is obvious in this environment, which is safety, and I just went through all of that. The other one, though, is around brand access. And look, we were already invested in that heavily before. Pre-crisis, about 90% of our transactions went out the door through some form of takeaway. So it was easier for us to flex into that. Whatever the new reality, customer reality is going to look like, we think we're well poised for that. 70% of our portfolio is comprised of drive-throughs. We've added 1,000 curbside locations during the crisis. We're accelerating the digital in a big way. We've got 400,000 new active users from Q4 of last year to Q1 this year. Our delivery footprint has doubled from 2,000 stores to 4,000 stores. On-the-go mobile ordering, which you used frequently in the past,
True.
has done very well. And so that, and throw in CPG as well, which is, our channel business is up 20 to 30% with our bag coffee and K-Cups. So we think that brand accessibility, allowing the consumer to access your brand however they want to do it in whatever new environment there's going to be, we think we're well suited for that. And it's just based on, for 70 years, we've been refining a brand and a model that is low touch, high frequency, affordable ticket, and we think that plays well in whatever the new consumer reality is going to look like.
There will be a lot of restaurants that do not reopen. Thousands of restaurants will not reopen after this. How does that change the growth trajectory of a company like Dunkin Brands? Not just Dunkin itself, but also Baskin-Robbins.
Yeah, and it's, and when you step back as a patriot, it's really sad to see all of this. You don't wish that upon anyone. And so that is unfortunately what's going on right now. We're, again, we can get into this, Brian, but we're incredibly grateful for the PPP, for our small business owners, our independent business owners, our franchisees. But look, right now we're just focused on taking care of Dunkin and Baskin and being a good corporate citizen in the communities we serve today. I think down the road, there's a time to come and evaluate opportunities. That's not our mission now, but I will tell you, my experience overseas, and as I like to say here internally, I feel like I've been in every crisis management foxhole possible. One of the things that we did do was separate and create a green team that was completely separate from the daily crisis management team. And that green team is focused on our business model, what we think we do well and can accentuate, and what are some of our opportunities, but also how we're going to reemerge from this. So we've already started thinking about expanding our footprint west of the Mississippi, a lot of the white space that may be available in this environment. So the discussions are going on behind the scenes, but I think that's going to have to wait for another day. Right now, we're just focused on making sure that all three legs of our stool, which is, our franchisees, our suppliers, and our and the brand are strong and standing tall right now.
Before I let you go, you mentioned the PPP loans. Have some of your franchisees successfully accessed those loans?
Yeah, and if I can take a step back on that, Brian, first, as a publicly traded company, let me say that Dunkin Brands has neither applied for that and will not take that government money. So we are heavily focused on keeping America working. We have not and have no plans to furlough any employees. So we feel like that's been our obligation. But, conversely, though, our franchisees, our great franchisees who employ on average 150 employees, we think PPP speaks directly to them. And we have helped them. Many have taken advantage of this. We've done a lot of communication, worked with financial institutions, done webinars as well. And we're very grateful and appreciative of the federal government and the governors who have assisted in this program, because it's really helped our franchisees keep America working during these times. So again, very appreciative of what's gone on with the government support there.
Dave, lastly, on just staying on the government support, do you think there should be more of a targeted relief plan to the hospitality industry?
I do, and I'm part of that, the National Restaurant Association and the White House opening up the economy a bit more. And so, look, there's a program that's been advanced around that. I support them. I think it's a well-targeted, well-placed program. And I stand with the National Restaurant Association on how they're trying to advance that, not just for franchise restaurants like ourselves who are small independent business owners, but for all the independent business owners that drive this economy and the service workers as well. So I would love to see that push through.
All right, let's leave it there. David Hoffmann, CEO of Dunkin Brands. Good to see you. Let's get those restaurants back open.
Thanks, Brian. Take care. Be safe.